Okay, I'm super annoyed right now because I literally just went through most of my like I almost finished my video and then I accidentally pushed like the button to X out of the video the camera, and then like I can't add it. Like I don't know how to add like more scenes to another. There's probably a way of doing it, but basically like I have a video that's like not fully complete, so I just decided to start again. Hopefully, maybe I'll just try to make it more brief because, it's not, I mean, it is interesting, but like, I don't know. Sometimes I tend to ramble. Um, and so, what I was trying to say in my other video, so that I'm in the car at night. Um, I have the light on overhead. Um, and I can see, you can like, it's funny because when I looked at my other video, I couldn't really see the shadows. So I'm not really sure if you can see shadows, but if you see shadows, that's why. I also turned off the light to see if it would be better, but like the parking lot I'm in has a lot of bright lights. So I guess there's nothing I can really, but it does look slightly better this way. Anyway, just want to let you know I'm not like injured or something. um, okay. So like my other time that I was trying to record this video, I was crying. And so I probably won't cry this time, hopefully. It's it happens when I try to do these videos and I've already had a hard day. But I feel like it sounds weird that I would want to do it on those kind of days, but it's just I don't know. It's almost like I have a lot of things I need to process. And for some reason making these videos helps me to process. Like I know that I need probably like actual therapy at some point. There's other things that I need to do, but it's just like I kind of want to tell my story and also like inspire other people when they find out like how I got saved, how everything came together. Um, just because it's so amazing and it just proves a lot about God and how great He is. So that's why I'm doing it. But yeah, this time I might cry. I don't want to cry right now, but anyway. So what happened was my ex did. We ended up going to court. Um, my daughter's these people passing me. I don't want to talk while they're right there. Um, so my daughter's dad ended up getting full legal and full physical custody. I didn't have any legal custody, so I couldn't even like make any decisions about her school or anything. Um, and I was on supervised visits. I couldn't be alone with her. Um, and it was only like I think twice a week for like an hour. I think it was like an hour and a half maybe or two. Yeah, I think it was like an hour and a half. And I also had to pay for it because I had to have a supervisor there that was like court appointed, and I had to pay for it. And it was like $45 every time. And I never missed a visit. I made sure that it like because I was working full time. It was minimum wage, and I was like living in a shelter. But at least I didn't have to pay rent. So I always had the money because I didn't want to miss any visits. So I always made my visits, but it was hard because it's just such a different thing to go from having your child 24/7 to, yes, then I started working a very small amount, but we're still together most of the time. And then all of a sudden it's just like, okay, I see you a few hours a week. Like it was very weird. Like I know we still had a connection, but it just wasn't the same. And it's never going to be the same. Like, I know that everything that happened is for a reason. God had a plan, and everything happened the way he made. Okay, he was like, if you look back at my story up to this point, and it's gonna keep going in my story, but even just like having her and having all these opportunities, God was trying to help me so much to be able to just be with her and not have to worry about her dad. Or I mean, so many times, the child care center, the goat farm, getting being able to move into her apartment with no money, and just like so many things. It's just like uh, transporting me out of state to another domestic violence shelter. Like, God was bending over backwards. So, like, sometimes I'm like, I feel sorry for myself, but I still do, because it's sad. It's sad because the child knows who's there every day taking care of her. And at that point, it wasn't me anymore. And she doesn't even remember when she was that age at all. Of course not. She's like 2 years old. How is she going to remember? But yeah, so my arm hurts holding this up. Okay. So, all right. So, like I said, my ex got custody. And I think I mentioned before that I was living in a homeless shelter and I started working at a frozen foods factory. It was really near the shelter. It was very close to where the shelter was. And it was co-ed shelter, which I think I already mentioned too in the last video. But I work full time and actually fairly frequently worked night shift, and I had to come home in the dark, or I guess I would call it. It was like night shift. It wasn't like overnight, but it was like late at night when I came. I want to say I got off at like 2 in the morning or something. And so, because I was a young girl, the people at the shelter were concerned about me walking back myself in the dark. And so they asked this guy because he also worked there and he did the same shift, and so they asked him to him to walk with me, and he is really, really nice, and he would always like bring us a flashlight, and he was really, really nice guy. But we were just friends, the whole time. But so okay, so basically after my daughter was taken, like, even though I still had visits, I don't know, for some reason in my head, I just thought, okay, I've already been declared basically like I'm unfit because I'm mentally ill or whatever. I didn't think there was any hope of me ever getting more time with her or ever getting her back. Like, how was I ever going to get her back, like, I just figured the situation was hopeless, and I just missed having her there all the time. Like, I'm so used to having her there, and I didn't know what to do with myself, honestly, because she was my life. Like, even when I was at work, I was constantly I was always getting food to bring home for her, and just like, she was my life, and I didn't know what to do with myself. And I know this is a bad idea, and it was not good thinking on my part, and it was completely emotionally driven, but like I said, I just didn't know what to do, and I really wanted another baby. And so I didn't really care. Well, I did care who the fuck. Okay, so the guy that was walking me back to the shelter, he was actually, I didn't really want to have a kid with him because he had 6 kids already from 3 different women, and he came from Virginia, and he had moved all the way to California. All his kids were there in Virginia, and he didn't see them. He said that he was allowed to, but he came out here to like pursue a career in like rap or R&B or something, and he was also going to open a carpet cleaning business with one of his friends who also came out. And yeah, but he said he paid child support, and that was like one of the reasons why he couldn't afford like a place to live, and that's why he was in the shelter. But I don't know if he was telling the truth. Maybe there was also a reason he couldn't see his kids. I have no idea. But yeah, I was like, there's no way I'm having a kid with someone who already has 6 kids. Like, that's enough for him, But so, and then I met a different guy who I ended up having unprotected sex with because, okay, now somebody's right there. I don't know why I'm always doing these videos in parking lots. Anyway, they probably can't even hear me, really. Sometimes I'm a little loud when I talk, so I don't know. But then I ended up meeting this other guy, and I liked him, and like we had unprotected sex. I was trying to get pregnant, like I said. Um, and then I ended up taking a pregnancy test, and I was positive. But then they had like estimated the conception date, right? And I was um I had had sex with the two guys like months apart, so there was no like question about the dates. Like I knew that it was the guy that I used to condom with. Oh yeah, that's what I forgot to. Okay, we had sex one time. We used a condom, didn't break, didn't notice anything coming out. Like we had no idea that we were like, okay, we're safe. Like normally, if something is wrong, you would notice, you know, you would notice. So we didn't, and so we thought, okay, didn't think that he was the one who got me pregnant at all because I. So when I was having unprotected sex with this guy, I was already pregnant. I didn't even know. Um, and then yeah, like I figured out the conception date, which was actually Valentine's Day, which is actually really cute, and it would have been cuter if we were actually in a relationship, but we weren't. But still, it's like kind of like, oh, you were conceived on Valentine's Day. It's a love, you're a love, whatever. But anyway, so um, he ended up moving to LA to pursue his dream. Um, and yeah, I didn't know I was pregnant, like I said, until after he moved. And like we kept in touch. He had my phone, or we had each other's phone numbers. And once I figured out what the conception date was, I was like, it's definitely him, because it was like couldn't have been the other guy. So I called him and I was like telling him that you definitely had you're definitely the dad. And he like we were I mean, to be fair, he was as confused as I was. um it wasn't even like that. It's just that, like I said, we like use protection and everything, and so it was like there's no way that it's him. And he was like feeling the same way. He's like, I didn't notice anything going wrong. Like, how is this possible? And then he's like, you know what? I guess those condoms were in my wallet for a really long time. Um, and, um, so maybe they were exposed to heat. And I'm like, okay. But he still was like, I think we would have like noticed. And, he was like, I need a baby. Like, I need a hole in my head. I was like, okay. And, so then, um, he's like, I bet when the baby's born, it's gonna be a white baby. And I was like, okay, whatever. But I still knew it was him. There was no way it was anybody else. Because I wasn't having sex within like the same month with the same guy. So I knew it wasn't him. Or I knew it wasn't the other guy. So when he was in LA, he actually did get into a relationship with a girl and got her pregnant too. So, he's in a relationship too, and also, so he got her pregnant too, and then, I had talked to him, and he's told me about it, and I was like, oh my gosh. So now, like, my kid is the 7th, and now you're like working on, and now you have the 8th on the way, like, and he was just like, I told her I wanted her to have an abortion, and she didn't want to. And then at some point he was like, I asked her to put the baby up for adoption. She didn't want to. And then then it was kind of like, I don't want to jump to conclusions about this, but like I had a conversation with him where he was like, you know, you know that um my so he said that at some point he said she made me mad, like nobody has ever made me mad before, that mad before. And he never like said anything else. He didn't go into detail. He kind of stopped after he said that. He never said like he hit her or anything, but for some reason that was the first thing that came to my head. And then like a little while later he said that she lost the baby. And so I was just thinking, like, did he do something? Was it intentional? Like, I don't, because he really didn't want her to have the baby. He wanted her to have an abortion. So I don't know. I don't know that for sure. But at some point, so he was pretty good throughout the pregnancy about like calling me and like, how are you feeling, blah 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 blah. And then when I got to like close to the end of my pregnancy, he said that he wanted to come visit, but he was still in a relationship with this girl. And he's like, he wanted to like stay for a while. And I was like, isn't your girlfriend gonna upset? And he's like, well, how is she gonna know? And I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter, because I know. I know, and I'm not okay with that. And so, you know, he could have, but he had the option to come and just like see me and like, I don't know, stay somewhere else. Or he could have just stayed at, like, he could have just come for the day or something, or moved up here. Like, there's a lot of other things he could have done, but he decided after I said that he didn't even it kind of, so he didn't communicate with me at all. I didn't reach out to him again because one of the things was, I was just like, I don't know if I can go through another custody battle. I don't have the strength for that. I can't do that again. But I also was like, I know he needs his dad. And I figured, like, since he had been calling, maybe he would stay in touch. I didn't hear from him for the rest of the pregnancy. And then my son was born, and it was definitely a black baby. He is a black baby. And I called him to tell him, like, hey, you have a son, but his number had been disconnected. I couldn't contact him. He never attempted to contact me. I have no idea what happened to him. And unfortunately, I only knew his first name, which is a bad idea. But like I said, I didn't think I was going to get pregnant. I had no idea. So, you know, that's another God thing where it's like, you thought you could control this, but nope, I decided. um, but yeah, so I basically was like alone. Like, my mom came out for the birth and stayed for a month or something afterwards to help. But then after that, I had one friend that would come by and help do dishes and stuff. Um, but yeah, other than that, I really didn't have anybody. I was just trying to do everything myself. So it was hard, but I was also really happy that I had him. But yeah.